Good morning, ladies, and thanks for joining me. My name's Heather Petherick, and I am the Veteran Success Coach for female business leaders of style, wit, and substance. And today we're talking about a real big, hairy, sweaty question that tends to torture us at this time of the new year, which is, are you afraid to fail? Now, before we get into that content, I want to ask you a couple of questions, and I want to get your quick response here. So post a 1 in the comments below if any of these statements resonate for you. What if I fail? What if I spend all this money investing in my business and work really hard only to find out that I'm not cut out for success? Post a 1 in the comments below if you've ever heard yourself ask that question publicly or privately. Here's another humdinger for you if you can relate to it. What if I embarrass myself? What if people find out I put in all this effort or put my eggs in one basket, really going for it, only to announce later that I am a failure? What if I embarrass myself? What if I fail? What if I waste money? What if I lose my reputation? What if? Give me a 1 in the comments below if any of those statements are something you have said to yourself. So today kicks off a 2-part video series that I'm doing today and tomorrow, dissecting this incredible thing called fear. So here's the thing. Fear it is one of the worst and sneakiest ways that we sabotage and squash our success. Now, anytime you are a woman who is looking to create big new results in your life or take bold action in your career, business, or even personal relationships, anytime you are thinking about doing something new or different, immediately, automatically, invariably, you will encounter fear. And there are 2 types of fear that I want you to know about. And the more we know about fear and are able to dissect and deprogram ourselves from it, the less we become victims of it. But here's the stakes. This is why this conversation is so important right now. At any time of year, if you do not unhook from fear, you will continue to be suspended in animation, despite the potential, the talent, the ambition, the impact, the intelligence and potential that you have will remain untapped. And that, my dear, is a friggin' tragedy in this world, because we need what only you can offer in only the way that you can offer it. So fear is one of the biggest topics that I use and support my clients around, especially this time of year when we're creating bold new plans to knock things out of the park. So that's what's at stake. You can either stay in suspended animation as a lump and fall victim to those fears, or you can continue to move forward. And though fear may never completely disappear, it will always be a co-pilot or a passenger on our journey, but we can make sure that it does not prevent us from moving forward in the direction we are meant for. So that's what's at stake. Okay, so getting back to the 2 types of fear you need to know about if you are going to continue to move forward and take bold new action and create beautiful new impact this year. 2 types of fear. Today's Facebook Live is all about the fear of risk, or as many of us know about it, the fear of failure. So fear of risk, what do I mean? Here we go. The hard truth is that if we want to move forward, to commit to going after our dreams, I'm reading some of my notes so I don't miss the good stuff for you, is you've got to make peace with the possibility, however remote, that yes, you may fail. And what does that actually look like? Fear carries a lot of baggage for us. Post a 2 in the comments if you know fear carries a lot of meaning, a lot of emotional baggage for you. If fear is a big, hairy thing for you, post a 2 in the comments. You see, what we risk in really going after our dreams, in really committing, in really gathering the troops and focusing in any one particular direction in our lives, is we risk actually learning or proving to ourselves what we maybe secretly have always worried is true. That is, we worry about learning that we are somehow unworthy, undeserving, inadequate, inherently flawed, or that we will eventually, and maybe are currently, a burden on people we love. that's at the, like, if we get down underneath all of the layers, all of the surface level, what if this happened? What if that happens? Fears, if we get below the surface of those fears, for every human being on the face of this earth, the risk of moving forward, or the fear of risk, is all about us truly learning, coming face to face with the realization, however remote, that we may truly be undeserving of the success that we desire, unworthy, inherently flawed, or will be a burden on people we love. Post a 3 in the comments if that rings your bell. Certainly does for me, and honestly for every woman I've ever worked for or worked with. But ultimately, bottom line, ladies, is if we are going to move forward and dare to create the impact we are here to make, we are going to dare to be more successful, if we are going to dare to grow our business, increase our income, you know, become more visible, whatever it looks like for you, if we're going to dare to do those things, we must accept the possibility of this risk, right? We can't have it both ways. We can't be safe and not have any skin in the game. That's what this is about. We must accept the risk of failure in exchange for possibility. So this is what I want to share with you today on the fear of risk, or as you may know it more intimately as the fear of failure. We've talked about why this is important. Everything is at stakes, right? If you do not unhook from the fear of failure, you will stay frozen in place, always wanting to create something different, but never really knowing if you could or would, right? And you don't want to wake up when you are 90 years old and think, damn, I wonder what could have happened. I wonder if I could have really made a difference. I wonder what I could have achieved had I tried. Swear to God, I do not want that in your reality. So that's why we are talking about the fear of failure. So here's what I wanted to give you a solution to this problem. The solution to this problem, and it is not unique to you or I, it is true of every human being. It is a universal problem, this fear of failure. First step that you must understand is that there is a big difference between our imagination and reality. Post a 4 in the comments if you get where I'm going with this. There is a big difference between our imagination and the actual reality. I call this step of the solution of unhooking from fear as getting into reality, or playing the whole tape through. So here's what this looks like. First step to unhook from the fear of failure is, number 1, shine a light on it. Fears are a lot like cats, right? You know that cats cannot be herded unless you give them a single point to focus on. Why is it that it's so hilarious for humans to play with a cat with a laser pointer? Think of it. You know, you can't herd cats, nor can you herd your fears unless you give or create a single point of focus. So here's what the first step of unhooking from the fear of failure is all about. This single point of focus is you actually shining a light on your fear. Stop letting these fears, these statements that you say privately or publicly, like, what if this happens? What if I, don't make my money back? What if I go into debt? What if I embarrass myself? What if? Make a physical inventory of all of those what if statements. This is you herding them, giving them one point of focus. Create a list of your fears, the biggest, hairiest, sweatiest, stinkiest fears that you have with a capital F. Simply sit down and make a list of all of them. Create your inventory. Create that point of focus for your fears so that they're not, like cats running in all different directions, but you can actually see them and stand back from them in one place. That's your first step. Got it? Make an inventory. Second step is to realize that whatever you have written down for your inventory of fears, realize that our imaginations are incredibly powerful and vivid and cruel to us. When you actually write down what you are afraid of, it can often be a sobering exercise. We realize that what we are telling ourselves in our minds is pretty scary. For example, a classic fear may be, if I invest seriously in myself and my business and I do all of this work, what if I fail? What if I can't pay off this business loan or pay back my relatives who've given me, some love money? What if I can't pay back this loan and then I become like the pariah of the family? Nobody wants to talk to me. I'm not invited to Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone thinks that I'm a loser, and I end up living on the street in a cardboard box using newspaper as toilet paper, right? That is kind of the nature of some of our what if fears, if we really are brutally honest with ourselves. Now, let's be honest. What is the likelihood that that's actually going to happen? As engaging or as scary and vivid as that type of fear may be, this is step 2 of the process, is to get into reality. Ask yourself, whatever your fear really is, can you be 100% certain that that is the outcome that's going to happen? If you take this big, beautiful action, can you be certain 100% that that is the outcome that's going to be created? That's where we get into reality, my dear. Number 1, make an inventory of these fears. Get them out on paper, out of your head, on paper, so you aren't tortured by them endlessly. Number 2, get into reality. Ask yourself, truly, how likely is it that this doomsday, apocalyptic, outcome is actually going to happen? And that's what I mean by our imaginations being so powerful and so vivid. Our fears revolve around the worst case scenario, the doomsday prophecy of what could happen if I take said action. And the honest to God truth is that the reality of our lives is so much kinder. And yet, unless we take these tangible steps, we remain paralyzed by this doomsday worst case scenario fear that's torturing us and keeping us paralyzed. So, write down your what if statements, your fears. Create that inventory. Step 2, get into reality. Can you be 100% certain that this will actually happen? And the honest truth is, no. Unless you are like a fortune teller with, 100% prediction rate, no one can be certain that what you are afraid of is actually going to happen. So we might as well entertain then for a second, what else is just as likely to happen? And what do you, honestly, lady, what do you know for certain about yourself that can mitigate that fear? I know for certain that you are far more talented, far more resilient, and far more resourceful and responsible than you give yourself credit. If you were to invest in yourself seriously, take yourself seriously, and legitimately invest time, money, and energy towards your dream, I know that you are far more resilient and responsible than you are giving yourself credit for. So given what you know for certain about yourself, what else is just as likely to happen as your doomsday fear is telling you? Well, yeah, you may not pay off a business loan in, say, 12 months, but you may pay it off in 18 or 24. And along the way, you are going to mature, evolve, and grow as a human being. You're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to become connected with other people, resources, and opportunities that will move you inevitably in the direction that is meant for you. No, I am almost certain that you will not become a homeless woman living in a cardboard box. And the reality is that you will most certainly move forward in the direction of your dreams and your calling. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Just to recap those steps, the solution of how to unhook from the fear of failure. Number 1, create an inventory. Take those fears out of your head, get them on paper for a single point of focus. Number 2, get into reality. Ask yourself, can you really be 100% certain that this fear is going to play out? Answer is no. Number 3, so what else is actually a possibility? And what do you know for sure about yourself, about what is likely to happen given your character and talents? And number 4, get out of your head. That's what this process is really all about, getting out of your head and into reality so that you can unhook from these brutal, torturous, false beliefs or fears of failure. Now, if ladies, you are eating this up, post a 5 in the comments below if you are loving this. So ladies, if you want even more support around how to unhook from the fear of failure or the fear of risk, right? Risking that we learn what we've long suspected about ourselves, that we are undeserving, unworthy, inadequate, flawed, or a burden on others. If you want even more support around unhooking from your particular fears that are holding you back from creating the impact, growth, and evolution you know is meant for you this year, then here's what you can do. You can go right now to download my free guide, which is all about this. I will post the link below, but just so that you know, the name of that free guide is, drumroll, your 7-step guide to transforming those sucky life-limiting beliefs, aka fears. I'm going to drop the link of where you can find that guide below in the comments. You can go opt in and grab your copy and work through this step by step for yourself. The other thing I want you to know, ladies, if you are loving this, this is only part 1 of 2. We are doing live videos this week, today and tomorrow, on the 2 types of fear. Today, as a recap, we have talked about the fear of failure, the fear of risking learning something we don't want to know about ourselves. And tomorrow's video is just as important and often is even sneakier, more deadly way that we squash our success, which is the fear of success. Today we've talked all about the fear of failure, and tomorrow, part 2, we'll talk about the fear of success, an even sneakier way that we squash our success. So thank you very much, ladies, for joining. Be sure to go grab your copy of my free guide for more support around unhooking from the fear of failure, and tomorrow, the fear of success. Mwah! Thank you so much, Ashley, and the rest of you beautiful ladies, for being here on this bright and shiny Tuesday morning. Post your comments, questions below. I will respond to those throughout the day. Go, have a beautiful day, and unhook from those prickly fears of failure. Mwah! Take care for now.